This is how you add decimals. First, you line up the number you have with the decimal. So 5.62 plus negative 12.9. 0 can be a placeholder. So all the spaces you don't have 0, you don't have a number, you could put 0 like this. So here, now we add 2 plus 0 equals 2. 6 plus 9 equals 15. 5 plus 2 equals 7. Plus 1 equals 8. And then 0 plus 1 equals 1. And then you just drag your decimal down. Okay, so now since your numbers are negative, it's a negative answer. This is how you subtract decimals. First, you line up the two numbers by the decimal. So 15.39 minus 2.6. So if you don't have any numbers in the spaces, you can have 0 as a placeholder. So 0 and 0. So now we subtract. 9 minus 0 is 0. So since 3 doesn't subtract from 6, you have to borrow from number 5. Make it a 4. 3. And then 13 minus 6 is 7. And then since 4 cannot be subtracted by 7, you take it away from number 1. And that comes to 0. And then 14 minus 7 is 7. And then you just drag the decimal point down. And that's your answer. This is how to multiply decimals. First, unlike addition and subtraction with decimals, you don't have to line up the numbers. So it's 4.02 times 0.7. Now we multiply. Okay, 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 7 times 4 is 28. So you put 8 and 2. And then 0 times 2 is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. So now we add them. We get 4, 1, 8, and 2. So to find out what your number is, you have to see how many spaces you have before your decimal. So we have 1, 2, 3. So 3. So 2, 1 is 3. Okay, so now what you do, you take our final answer and put the decimals, and that's your answer, 2.814. This is how to divide decimals. First, our two numbers are 1.06 divided by 0.2. So first what you do, you take the outside number right here and put it on the outside. So, wait. Okay. 0.2 divided by 1.06. Okay, so what you do first, since there's a decimal, you have to move it to the outside. So, and then move it, do the same thing. And then what you do, you bring the decimal upward. So now, we're ready to divide. 2 goes into 10 5 times, and that's 0. And that's our answer, 5. This is how to solve decimals using equations. So on this problem, it's W minus 5.8 equals 1.2. So since it's subtraction, you have to add it. So to cancel out the 5.8, you have to add it by 5.8. Add it 5.8. So then it cancels out. So now we have to do the same on the other side. So 1.2 plus 5.8 equals 10 and 6, 7 equals 7.0. So now we know that W equals 7.0. This is how to solve equations using addition. So what you do for addition, to solve it, you have to subtract. So since it's 3.91, you have to cancel it out by subtracting 3.91. So 3.91, it cancels out. And then you have to do the same on the other side, 3.91. And then I'm putting a 0 there for a placeholder. So now, since it's 28.00 minus 3.91, since 0 can't be subtracted from 1, you have to borrow from 0. But since you can't borrow from 0, you have to borrow from the 8. So 8 becomes a 7, and it becomes a 9, 10. Okay, so it's 9, 0. You drop the decimal, and it's 4, 2. And then so now we know that R equals 24.09. This is how to solve equations by multiplication. So what you do, to cancel out multiplication, you have to divide. So 1.2 divides by 1.2. So that cancels out. So 1.44 gets divided by 1.2. So what we do is, so it's 1.44 divided by 1.2. Wait, what we do, since, so now we divide. No, actually, 1.2 is going to go on the outside, and 1.4 is going to go on the inside. Okay, so what you do, because a decimal number can't go on the outside, you have to move it one space to the right. So now it's 12 divided by 14.4. So 12 divided by 14.4. So what you do, 12 goes into 14 once, 12, 2, comes down, and then 12 goes into 24 twice, so, and it goes in evenly. So you get a 0. Okay, so now we know that Y equals 24. This is how to solve equations using division. So to cancel out 82, what you do is you multiply it by 82. So it's 82. So it cancels out, and we multiply it by 8. Okay, so now we multiply negative 0.6 times 8.2. So 0.6, 8.2, and then it's a negative. So okay, so what we do, 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 1 is 49, so 49, and then placeholder. 0 times 2 is 0, 0 times 8 is 0, and then you add all of these up, 2, 9, 4, and so since we have 2 decimal places, we bring 2 decimals, so it's 4.92. So now we know that n equals 4.92. This is how to add fractions. First, since they are common denominators, you could go straight away and line them up. it's set up like this. Okay, 6 plus 3 equals 9 over 15. And since 3 can go into both of them, it can be simplified. 3 can go into 9 3 times. 3 can go into 15 5 times. So our answer is 3/5. This is how to multiply fractions. Our two numbers are 1/4 and -2 over 3. So what you do, you write them out first. 1/4 times -2 over 3. So now what you do, you look around and see if any number can be subbed out. So since 2 goes into 4 once, 2 goes into 4 twice, you can sub out 2, -2, and then that becomes a 1. And since it goes into 4 twice, that becomes a 2. So now we multiply. 1 times 1 is 1, and then 2 times 3 is 6. Now we got 1/6 for our final answer. This is how to solve fractions by multiplication. So what you do, first, to unsolve addition, you need to subtract. So 1/6 cancels out 1/6, and then so what you do on one side, you have to do to the other side. So 5 over y minus Okay, so that's 5 over 6. So now what we do, this is canceled out already. So it's m equals 5 over 6 minus 1 over 6. That is 4 over 6. But we're not done yet because it can be simplified by 2. 2 can go into each of them. 2 can go into 4 twice. 2 can go into 6 3 times. So our final answer is m equals 2/3. This is how to solve equations by subtraction. So what you do, to cancel out subtraction, you have to add. So 1/5 plus 1/5 cancels out. So now it's 3/5 plus 1/5. So now we add n equals 3/5 plus 1/5. That is 5 and 4. So n equals 4 over 5. This is how to solve equations with multiplication. So it's what you do to undo multiplication, you have to divide it. So 1/5 divided by 1/5 cancels each other out. So now it's x equals 1/4 divided by 1/5. Okay, so now what we do, 4 divided by 1/5, we go 4 over 1 times 5 over 1. And now we multiply. So it's 1 times 1 is 1, 5 times 4 is 20. So since it's 20 over 1, it goes to 20. So now we know x equals 20. This is how to solve equations with multiplication in it. So what you do, since you can't divide by a fraction, what you have to do is do the reciprocal. So now since it's 6 over 1, we go 1 over 6, and those cancel out each other. So now it's 1/2 times 1 over 6. So now it's y equals 12 over 1.